Right, our next topic of discussion is React hooks. So, in React, components are the building blocks of your app. They define what you see on the screen. One type of component is called a functional component, which is basically a simple JavaScript function that shows some UI, the ones that we have been using so far. That's where hooks came in. Hooks are special tools in React that let functional components do more, like remembering information, called state, and performing actions at the right time, called side effects. So, why are hooks useful? They make your code simpler and easier to read. They help you build reusable, modular components, and they're making debugging easier when things go wrong. We have already learned about one hook and about to learn another. So useState, which we used in the previous section, helps components remember values and update them when needed. For example, it can track when a user types or count button clicks. The next hook we are about to get familiar with is useEffect. This manages actions like fetching data or setting timers. It makes sure these actions happen at the right time and are handled properly. By using hooks, we can create more dynamic, interactive applications without writing complicated code. Ever wondered what happens behind the scenes when a React component appears, updates, or disappears? That's where component lifecycle comes in. It's the different phases a component goes through from birth to cleanup. Let's break it down using a simple analogy, moving into a new house. When a React component first appears, it's like moving into a new house. The structure is there, but it's pretty empty. So the first thing you do, set things up. Just like you would set up Wi-Fi, buy furniture, and stock the fridge, in React we often fetch data, subscribe to services, or set up event listeners when a component mounts. Over time, things change. Maybe you get bigger TV, swap out furniture, or update the Wi-Fi plan. In React, when state of props change, the component re-renders, updating what's necessary without rebuilding the whole house. But when you move out, you don't just leave everything behind. You cancel the internet, throw out the perishable food, and clean up. In React, when a component is removed, we use useEffect cleanup to unsubscribe from services, remove event listeners, or stop background processes. So we don't leave any mess behind. This is exactly how useEffect works in React. When a component mounts, you fetch what you need. When it updates, React keeps things in sync, and when it unmounts, you clean up. Simple, right? Next, I'll introduce you to the term side effects. So in React, when we build components, their primary job is to take input and render output, essentially turning data into visible elements on the screen. But sometimes our components need to do more than just render. They need to perform actions that go beyond the basic flow. These actions are called side effects. Think of side effects as anything that happens outside the immediate result of returning JSX. For example, when you fetch data from an external API, set up an event listener for button clicks, or even update the document title. None of these actions are part of the rendering process itself. They happen after or alongside it. Now that we know what side effects are, let's talk about how to manage them using React's useEffect hook. UseEffect is like a special tool that tells React, hey, I need to do something after this component renders. Here's how it works. Inside useEffect hook, you write the code for your side effect. This could be fetching data, logging a message, or manipulating the DOM. And then we provide a dependency array. This is where the magic happens. The dependency array tells React when to run your effect. We can provide it an empty array as a dependency to run only once when the component mounts, or add variables to the array to make it run whenever those variables change. By understanding useEffect, you gain the ability to manage real-world behaviors in your components, making your apps interactive, responsive, and efficient. We now know that useEffect is essential for handling side effects in React, but to use it effectively, it's crucial to understand how it fits into the component lifecycle. During mounting, useEffect can run once for initial setup, ideal for fetching data or setting up timers. During updating, it reruns whenever specified dependencies change. And during unmounting, it can run cleanup logic such as removing event listeners or stopping timers. But with this power come common pitfalls. Forgetting the dependency array means useEffect runs on every render, even if nothing important has changed. This can quickly degrade performance. And I am not talking about the empty array. I am talking about not specifying dependencies at all. Providing empty array make the use effect run once only. This is very important to remember because this is the most common use effect you'll be using. Oversubscribing to events or timers without cleaning them up can lead to memory leaks or repeated event calls. And stale state occurs when the function captures an old value of variable, leading to unexpected behavior. To avoid these issues, useEffect allow us to return a cleanup function, essentially a way to tidy up before the next effect runs or before the component unmounts. By handling these details carefully, you can ensure your components remain predictable, performant, and easy to maintain. If some of these concepts didn't make sense up till now, next let's look at some code examples to see how these concepts work in action and all will be cleared.